Not too bad on the meat prices. Inflation, all this, whatever inflation, yeah. That shit is inflated as fuck. $30 to wipe your ass.
How do people afford to live? I am leaving Costco with 6 items, $165.
I keep seeing reports of all of us youngish people, I'm about 29, almost 30 here soon, having to live with our parents.
You know what is a very out of touch thing to say when people are struggling out there financially, especially for somebody who is boasting about how they're financially doing fine and that they're not struggling, and all we need to do is to adjust our life by making sacrifices, work harder, find better opportunities, as if it's easy as 1, 2, 3. That is just so upsetting because there are so many Americans that are living paycheck to paycheck. And matter of fact, 57% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. That means there's a majority of people who are struggling financially, trying to get themselves out of debt, trying to put themselves in a position where they financially can do anything and everything, whether it's saving for their retirement, getting to enjoy life, whatever the case may be. But that is far from the truth, and people need to stop looking down on those who are trying to get themselves in a better financial position, because it is not easy. You got to look at it. Of the 57%, 65% of millennials are feeling that struggle of living paycheck to paycheck. And then the younger generation, the Gen Zers, 72% of them feel that pressure of living paycheck to paycheck. If you see the trend, that means that the next generation is bound to be feeling that pressure even more than the previous. And it's just going to be a continuous cycle until it gets harder and harder to even live. And to back that up with statistics, since people are going to try to rebuttal that, did you realize that the average wage growth average for the country between May of 2025 to May 2026 is actually 3.7% average? That means you could possibly get a little bit more, but a majority are going to go down as well. And the fact that the inflation rate is no average, it's just straight across the whole country, is 4.2%. That means that you're actually making less money than the previous year, as supposedly your wage is going to increase. The cost of living in general is getting harder for you to live by. And so that opportunity for you to get out of debt and being able to, live life the fullest is getting harder and harder. And it's getting more apparent that people are getting mad at the situation, and that the feeling of people trying to tell them just do better is not enough, and it is infuriating to the majority of Americans who are going through this process. I know, in fact, that I have lived paycheck to paycheck, and it has taken me almost 10 years to finally get out of all my debt. And it is a great feeling, but the amount of sacrifice, the amount of extra OT that I had to do in order to get myself in that position is crazy. I live in a dual income, no kid situation, and we are still barely getting by. That is not even fair for those who have kids, who want kids like ourselves. It is so much more expensive to have a family. And you wonder why the population is going down in numbers? Because you can't afford to have a family. It has become very difficult, and it has not become incentivized, unfortunately. But you're going to see a lot of people crashing out in this video, and rightly so, because this is something that is building up pressure on people's shoulders, and the weight on their chest is just killing them to the point where it's just like, what are they going to do? There's nothing you can do to fight against inflation. That is out of your control. And the little control you have is finding a new job when the economy is not doing well, and giving people the opportunity to find a better career, to make advancements up. There isn't really any room for that. That is the honest truth.
You want to know how bad inflation is? I just talked to a home building company about possibly building me a house. Growing up, I was always told that building a house is actually cheaper and you actually get what you want in your home. At least that's what I thought. Now, I live in a pretty decent area. I'm not talking about $1 million homes, but I do live in a decent middle class area. And the problem that I'm having is that I don't want to spend $400,000 on a home that was built in the 90s and only has 3 bedrooms. Now, I was thinking that $400,000 does sound like a good bit of change change to go build yourself a home. So I call up this home construction company and I'm as happy as I can be because I'm about to tell them, hey man, I'm willing to spend $400, maybe even $500,000 for you to build me a house. So I get this guy on the phone, I give him my little spiel. Hey, how you doing? I'm thinking about building a home. Let me know what you got for me. He goes, no problem. That's what I specialize in. Then he asks me the magical question, what's your budget? At this point, I've been waiting for this question. I'm about to tell him 400,000. I'm about to hear him jumping up in the air and we're about to have a kumbaya moment. I tell him 400,000 thinking he's going to talk me up to 500,000, but this man says, ooh, do you already have the land? The land? No, this is why I'm contacting you because I don't have anything. Put me on. You're supposed to be letting me know what's up. This man proceeds to tell me that the area that I'm in, the land itself is $400,000 and he doesn't do any construction on homes that are even less than $500,000. He then proceeds to tell me that they don't do land and home loans together. Those are separate things. So I say to him, wait, hold up. You're talking too fast. You're telling me that I will have to pay 2 separate loans with 2 separate interest rates and I will be paying $900,000 on a $500,000 home? He goes, yeah, the housing market is really messed up right now and the price of lumber is through the roof. It sounds like you want one of those new construction builds that's 45 minutes out from where you are right now. And I said, sir, I'm sorry for wasting your time, and I just hung up the phone. But that's how bad inflation is right now. But y'all let me know what y'all think. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
So I just had a guy tell me that the economy is booming and that the only reason people are struggling is because they're not working hard enough. Yep, so for all of us struggling, we're just not working hard enough. Does this guy realize that today there are people who are making $30,000 to $50,000 more dollars a year than they were making 3 to 5 years ago, but they are struggling more today than 3 to 5 years ago? Has this guy walked through a grocery store? Has he seen the price of chips? Has he seen the price of cereal? Has he seen the prices of anything? Does he realize that we have elderly who, in order to put food on the table, are having to go work at Walmart even though they're 80 years old? Does he realize that people who are in their 30s and 40s, who do have a job, who do have a good career, have moved back in with their parents because they can't afford the price of rent and they can't buy a home right now because the interest rates are so high and the prices of homes are still high? And then you add on property taxes, and then you add on home insurance. People can't afford that. And it's not as simple as go get a better job, go get a second job. It's not that simple. Telling a mom like me to go get a second job when I'm already working a full-time career and I already have a 2-hour commute every day, I don't have time for that. Okay, so what? I go get a second job and now I'm never with my children? How is that worth it? Oh, and now I have to go pay more daycare expenses? How is that worth it? Okay, we have a lot of people in this country, in this world, struggling, and the answer is not to bury your head in the sand and act like nothing's going on. Do not tell me the economy is booming. The economy is not booming when people are struggling the way they are. And when I mean people that have good jobs, who have good degrees, who have 2 incomes coming in their house, and the family is still struggling. That's not a booming economy.
I would love to know how everybody's affording to live. I sent my fiance, because we're still fiancés because weddings are ridiculous, but I sent him out to the store. I asked for garbage bags, I asked for 2 rolls of paper towels, and I asked for 2 vitamin waters. I said, go into my wallet, there's $30, take it, so we don't use the credit card because that's probably at the max. And he gets back and I'm like, okay, where's the change? He's like, what change? It was $34. I said, $34? What the fuck did you even get? And for everyone saying, oh, well, just use reusable paper towels. Listen, babe, we're not doing that. We tried that method. It doesn't work for this family. The juice is spilling and everything else. The main point is that it shouldn't cost $34 for fucking 4 things, okay? I want to know, how are we affording to live? Because I'm 2 seconds away from a mental fucking breakdown.
How do people afford to live? I am leaving Costco with 6 items. $165 for 6 things. I mean, salmon's one of them, but my heart goes out to all you moms and dads who are raising families and trying to feed your kids. I don't have any college educations to pay for. 6 items, $165. How are families making it and surviving in this day and age? Holy cow.
Every time I think about or trying to move out my parents' house, the cost of living just get higher and higher. Like, insurance goes up, gas goes up, not to mention the fact that you got to make 3 times the rent of wherever you live at, which is kind of insane because the average person my age ain't even making what I'm making. Not to mention the fact that I check my pay stubs all the time. I'm not making as nearly as what I would make if they ain't take all them fucking taxes out of my checks every 2 weeks. Like, and I just been sitting here thinking, like, cause with me personally, when I moved out, I always wanted to move out by myself or with a significant other. And now I'm starting to realize when people move out, they get roommates. Or they move in college apartments with other people that they don't even fucking know of because the cost of living is too fucking high. How can I get a house these days? How can I get a house, bro?
Not too bad on the meat prices. Inflation, all this, whatever inflation, yeah. That shit is inflated as fuck. $30 to wipe your ass.
I keep seeing reports of all of us youngish people, I'm about 29, almost 30 here soon, having to live with our parents because most of us cannot afford to have a place of their own. I am lucky enough to have a job where I can afford a place for my own. I make $31 an hour working in a call center. 70% of I take home about $2,300. My rent's about $1,750. I exist to pay rent right now, basically. No generation has had it harder. And I won't hear it from any other generation because it's simply factually not financially true. I deal with finances all day long. I know numbers and I know money. I'm very financially aware. And no generation has had it financially harder than us because it's simply not true. No one's rent has ever been this high. No one's groceries has ever been this high. It's just, we're getting screwed.
Hey, look, so I was having a conversation with my maintenance man, right? And we was pretty much talking about, because I asked him, I'm like, bro, why is there so many people moving out? And he's like, bro, everybody getting kicked out. I'm like, damn, why? He's like, bro, ain't nobody paying their rent. And it made me think, like, bro, this economy is getting wicked. It's wicked out here. Like, it's spooky. Like, prices is going up. Like, apartments, 1-bedroom apartments, shit, like $1,600-1,700. Especially, like, I'm in a nice area, so, like, apartment, like $1,600-1,700. I'm like, so it could be tough on people, especially, like, if you working paycheck to paycheck, right, and you got kids and you're not making a decent amount of money, it can be really tough on people. And on top of that, we was talking and he was saying, like, he knew someone that makes 6 figures and he still work paycheck to paycheck. So when he said that, I'm like, hold on now. He making 6 figures and he still working paycheck to paycheck? I'm like, all right, now it's gotta be, like, he gotta be living above his means because ain't no way you telling me he making 6 figures and he living paycheck to paycheck. But then again, like, you never know someone's situation. But I don't know. It's just crazy that you making 6 figures and you working paycheck to paycheck. Y'all let me know. For real.
It's people out here right now today, man. They would rather make a $800 or $900 a month payment on an SUV or a pickup truck and live in a vehicle than to live in these overpriced ass houses and overpriced ass apartments. It is cheaper to go and finance a vehicle for $700 or $800 a month, and you tack on a little insurance, which is about $300 depending on your age. They'd rather live in a vehicle than to be disrespected and have to pay high mortgage and high rent prices. These apartments now, they use their application process, man, as a way to make money off you. It's a scam. They sell you the dream. They tour you through these apartments and call them luxury. Ain't a damn thing about them luxury, man. You can get an apartment or a house with a pool any damn where. But then they sit there and sell you a dream, making you think that you finna get approved for this apartment, and you pay that $45 or that $100 non-refundable application fee, and then they end up denying you, or they saying you need 3 times the rent. How many people sitting around in 2026 in this economy with 3 times their rent sitting in their account? Come on, man. The reality is people not really doing it, man. Overpriced apartments, overpriced houses. People would rather just live in their vehicles. Well, why not? It's cheaper. You can pull up to a Walmart parking lot after it closed and just go to sleep.